All right, so I've actually moved around a lot. And so people ask if I actually recommend moving to Pensacola and if I think it's a good place for people to move to. And it's a bit of a loaded question because for some people it's probably fantastic and you may have not considered it, but it's a better fit for you than you might realize. And for others, maybe it's just not your jam. And that's fine. Not everyone has to be a good fit for Pensacola and vice versa. Pensacola doesn't have to be the right fit for everyone else. So today we'll go over like a quick 5 pros and cons of things that I believe are both good and bad about Pensacola, about living there. And let's get into it because that's what we're here for. Guys, affordability. Living in Pensacola and Pensacola as a whole is absolutely feels more affordable than really all of East Coast Florida and the majority of any bigger city you might be considering moving from outside of Florida. We're talking, you can find maybe if you're good with a condo, you can find a condo with water views, not necessarily waterfront, but water views in the 400s, 500,000s. There are great houses in solid, established neighborhoods that you could find for like $350,000, especially like that northern Pensacola area. You can find a 3-bed, 2-bath home, even like a larger lot, like a quarter of an acre or half an acre or close to it, around that same price point. So, there's absolutely very expensive $1 million homes. There's the $700,000 homes, but like as a whole, for $300,000 to $400,000, you can absolutely find a great place to live here. When it comes to groceries, gas, and all of that, it's pretty normal. I'd say it compares to a lot of places, but still slightly more affordable, especially like dinners, drinks at bars and everything when you compare it to those larger cities. I moved from Pensacola, and I know that when I first moved, it was a drastic change to feel that price point shift. And so that was really nice to experience, and I think a lot of you will probably feel the same way when you first move. Yeah, so affordability is definitely a huge plus. For military families, your BAH is definitely very useful, and it goes a long way here. So we can absolutely find something that maybe stretches that BAH all the way to provide exactly what you're looking for in an area that you want. So let's go with number 2, beaches and lifestyle. The beaches are absolutely beautiful. It's the first thing people think of for Florida, right? But specifically Pensacola, Navarre, Perdido, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, that section of the Emerald Coast, destined to the Emerald Coast, Northwest Florida, has the most beautiful beaches you'll ever see. The sand is white. It is like powdered sugar soft, maybe not that soft, but it's incredibly soft. Like I just mentioned, I moved from Miami, and yes, they have beautiful beaches, but it's so different, and I would absolutely vote the Pensacola beaches over Miami any day, no questions asked. That's just the reality of it. It's beautiful. You're always within like 30 to 45 minutes to the beach, depending on certain locations you might be, wasp just flew in. Certain locations you're like a 15-minute drive, especially you're just like in that downtown area. You could be at the beach as quickly as 15 minutes. I mean, it's a sweet area to live in and have that convenience of the beach and have it there. You could, on a random Tuesday, you just get home from work and you look at your significant other and say, hey, you want to run out to the beach, have a drink, have dinner, and go watch the sunset? Yes, you can absolutely do it on a whim, and that's really a change in your lifestyle depending where you're coming from, but for most people, I think that is a huge benefit in your lifestyle that you will absolutely enjoy when you make the shift. Pro number 3 is the military and VA friendliness. Pensacola is a military town. NAS Pensacola is the main station that is located there. You have Whiting Field, you've got Duke Field, you've got Eglin a little further out, and Holbert Field as well. It is a military town. It's the home of the Blue Angels. Navy flight school is out of NAS Pensacola. You have people coming in and out of this area on a regular basis. Of course, there's plenty and lots of permanent residents. And a lot of these military members that have come here through service and gone everywhere else you'd be surprised how many people end up saying, all right, well, I'm out of the military, where do I want to live? And they choose to come back to Pensacola. It's not a rare thing whatsoever, and you'll definitely meet a lot of people that have done that. It means that the businesses get it, the schools get it, everyone gets it. There are families moving in and out of the area throughout the year. The reality is that we get it, right? Real estate wise, a VA loan is a very powerful thing to use here. Unlike a lot of other areas in the country where some sellers unknowingly feel like a VA loan is a troublesome or is a scary offer to accept, this is not the case in Pensacola. Use your VA benefit if that is the best option for you to purchase a home here. People get it. The majority of our business is military families, and we help them move here on a regular basis. The VA loan can compete with any other type of loan that is available as an option. So don't be hesitant to use your VA benefit here. It's definitely can be a smooth process, and it's not anything to be hesitant of using. So if you're PCSing, feel free to use it. Let's go with number 4. No state income tax. And I feel like a lot of people know this, so we won't dive too deep into it. If you're already in Florida, you know the deal. If you're coming from somewhere else, no state income tax is huge. Depending where you're coming from, that's like 4 to 7, maybe 8% staying in your pocket on an annual basis. That is a massive chunk of change. It's real money that stays in your pocket. So it's definitely a big thing to keep in consideration when you start to compare a lot of costs and lifestyle changes and the financial aspect of this change. Worth keeping in mind, so have it fully calculated in for what your decisions are going to be moving forward in the area. So number 5. The small city ease. I think a lot of people don't necessarily appreciate this unless you're coming directly from a bigger city. It is calmer. Get a small city, small town feel where people are mostly kind. Traffic is not a real issue. A lot of the lifetime locals will complain about the traffic, just poorly timed red lights and occasional accidents here and there. It's not real traffic. I grew up in Maryland, just outside DC. I lived in Miami for 7 years. I know traffic. I was easily 30% happier with my life because of the lack of traffic once I moved to Pensacola. I'm telling you, it is a breath of fresh air. You're going to love it if you're coming from any of these other big cities. It shouldn't surprise you that you can mostly get to where you're going to 15 to 20 minutes. If you're going from one end of the city to from northeast Pensacola to like Perdido or whatever it is, I mean, that could be 30 to 45 minutes, but we're talking the full span, right? The airport is small, but they are expanding it. It's getting bigger and better. It's not the most convenient airport to fly out of because a lot of places you have to connect through Atlanta, but they're constantly adding more direct flight options, which is very, very nice to have. Airport as a whole, it's great. Security is not that bad. The wait line is not terrible unless it's like the bigger holidays. That 2-hour rule, not necessarily a thing in Pensacola, again, except for maybe holidays or special events. You can get through it pretty quickly, pretty easily. Overall, it's a calmer lifestyle. It's not like that hustle and bustle, like in a rush, big city feel. You're not just grinding, getting to the next thing, the headache of your commute or anything like that. I think as a whole, people are a little bit nicer. So yeah, if you're burnt out for like the bigger city life, it's probably a great option. Let's get into some of these cons because there are some that are worth discussing. They're real. Number 1, probably the biggest thing for the majority of you are the fact that we get hurricanes. There's a hurricane season, and along with that, insurance costs. So it's almost like 1 and 2, right? Hurricane season is a real thing. You need to prep for it. The good thing about hurricanes, if there is one, is the fact that you have a lot of time and notification prior to it happening. It's not like you're just, there's a hurricane here, right? It's not going to surprise you. There's for about 2 weeks, people are talking about this hurricane that's possibly on the way. It's possibly on the way. So you have plenty of time to stock up on groceries. Don't get crazy. Don't buy all the toilet paper. Just stock up. Make sure you're not going to run out. Get food, water, essentials, and then start planning. Some people choose to just not deal with it and they fly out and whatever happens. They'll come back to it and deal with it then, or just plan and ride it out. That'll be fine too. Or at least give yourself the option to leave. So prep yourself to stay, but also prep yourself to have that last minute out if things get it seems like it's going to be really, really bad, and get to your car and get out. Obviously, there's like a point of no return kind of thing. If it's like really bad, I've never experienced that. I only had the one that was in, I want to say 2020. What was that? Sandy, I think. Lots of rain, heavy winds, trees came down, there was damage, there was roofs and all that. You know, it's just a thing. There were power outages for sure for a few days. Like I said, plan. A lot of homes have generators. That's probably a big plus to consider when you're looking. But along with the fact that there's hurricanes in Florida is insurance costs. Home insurance in Florida is expensive. The way the insurance companies see it is that they only see it as a state as a whole. So whether something hits in like Jacksonville or Naples or wherever it is, it will affect a homeowner in Pensacola. You're in Florida, it's all piled in together. The reality is it's expensive. Expect home insurance to be like $3,000 plus. That's just about what I'm paying for my small, albeit old, 1960s home that's in the downtown area. Small, we're talking under 1,500 square feet. And that's just the cost. It's the reality of it. It's part of the budget. You need to make sure that you are calculating for that when you're buying a home, because the way your mortgage costs, it's not just the cost of the loan, it's the cost of the loan, your property taxes, and your insurance costs. So definitely something to consider. A lot of that is a planning thing though. Just gotta make sure you know what you're doing. It's all manageable at the end of the day. Just keep your eye open and pay attention. Con number 2 is the summer heat and the humidity. Surprise, surprise, it's Florida. It is hot as heck. It is humid, especially in the summer. You get to have hot sun and access to a beach, but along with that is some humidity. It can get bad at times. It can get real bad. There are absolutely times when I've just packed an extra shirt wherever I'm going because I know I sweat a lot, and if I'm trying to keep a clean professional look, I sometimes need that second shirt to change into. It's just the reality of life. A lot of this is, right? So, you know, on the other side is it cools down by October, it's cooling down probably through February, March, except for you get some like an occasional heat wave or cold front that comes in. It's still somewhat seasonal here. You don't get full 4 seasons, but you kind of get a peak at 4 seasons. Florida, it's humid during the summer. That's just the reality of it. And in that transition, there's a lot of rain as well. So do what I do. Take an extra shirt. It helps. Con number 3, the spring break crowds. In the spring break, tourists come in. Traffic can be bad to get to the beach. There's a lot of activity at the restaurants and the beaches and everything. If you're into that, awesome. Take advantage and join in on the fun and the craziness. It can be fun, right? Choose what you want to do. If you don't want to see the crowds, don't go to the beach at that time, or go to a different section of the beach. You can absolutely skip out on Casino Beach and go out past all that, past Portofino, and find yourself a peaceful, private little section of the beach and go sit by yourself and enjoy the water, enjoy the sun. Ignore the fact that the spring breakers are doing their thing in the main section of Pensacola Beach. This was a separate con, was the traffic. So I guess number 3, spring breaks, right? Traffic because of the spring breakers. Okay, so actually maybe we'll make this con actually a double also, like a spring break crowds plus crossing to the water traffic. And that's like a very specific little piece because it's only during those high peak seasons. And the reality is that there's only one bottleneck, and it's in Gulf Breeze. From downtown, you got 3 Mile Bridge that drops you off in Gulf Breeze. You've got a big shopping center on the left, and you got a middle school and high school on the right. And it's probably the worst place for them to have placed that. It's a main corridor. I don't know how they solve it at this point. Not my problem. I don't get paid to do that. But that is where the bottleneck happens. There's just a lot of activity, especially if you're there during this, like when school's getting in or school's getting out, plus beach, tourist traffic, whatever it is. That part gets very backed up. That is the reality of it. Truth thing is, you're on the way to the beach. Keep a smile on your face. Don't be a butthole about it. Enjoy your drive, play some good music, and you're gonna get there, right? Just keep her calm, you're gonna get there, right? That's the only time that traffic is an issue, and it's because of the spring breakers. They are also financing and they're adding to the local economy to things that we get to enjoy year round. So let them come. Another con, next one, limited big city amenities. This is absolutely true. If you're looking for like the museums and culture of like the large cities, we don't have that. We have some museums, it's totally different level, right? The restaurant scene is getting better every year. There's a lot of new concepts popping up. Music is great. You've got Vinyl Music Hall in downtown. It's a very smaller venue that feels a lot more intimate, but they constantly have performances coming through. Yeah, I mean, it's a trade-off. At the end of the day, it's a smaller city compared to what you might be moving from. So there's gonna be some give there, but there is plenty of variety, and I personally don't think I've really missed anything. And if there's something very specific you're trying to go watch, is you can go travel for it, right? Gives you a reason to go visit a friend that's in that town. Also, they have big acts out in Gulf Shores, which is not far away as well. So, I mean, there's plenty to do here while still maintaining this smaller town sense of a smaller town. I think if you're from like a true small town, it won't feel that way. But for the majority of people moving from larger cities, you don't have the hustle and bustle. People are calmer, people are nicer for the most part. I loved that about my change from Miami to Pensacola. That was a positive to me, but for some, maybe it could be a con. I'm curious what your thoughts, or if you have questions about it. If you love outdoors, if you're looking for something affordable in Florida, still have that Gulf Coast and beach lifestyle, don't necessarily need all those bigger city conveniences, Pensacola could be a really great fit for you. So if you can't handle heat and humidity or the cost of insurance, I don't blame you, or just the fear of hurricanes, maybe it's not so much for you or your family. I'll take hurricanes or the possibility of hurricanes for the trade-off of having this lifestyle. So worth it to me, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.